Yo, welcome to the Elite Table Talk, where we unpack health professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, and just everyday people and looking at their lifestyle, their mindset, their routines, and we see what they have done to help them move forward and really just get more time back in the day. Most people say there's 24 hours in the day, but there's really 16 because we sleep for 8. But how do we get the most of those 16? So grab a pen, get some paper, let's make some notes. Let's see what we can get from this episode today. Let's go.
I think one thing also which I think is really interesting is like when I chat to people, what I find, especially with people that aren't really doing anything or they're doing a little bit of something, they feel like when I say, what are you going to do for your health, or do you want to start training? I'm going to start at this point, because they feel like then it's all or nothing. Do you know what I mean? So it's very much like, exactly. I've got so in like 3 weeks time, then I'm over this busy period, then I'm good to start. And I'm like, well, why don't you start with like just something? It doesn't have to be everything. But one thing, let's pick one thing and start with just that. It's like I could have said for the certificate 4. I was like, I'm working at night now, assisting to Eddie. I'm going to bed at like midnight, 11:30. But I haven't given up on everything. I'm still doing my training, even if I'm tired. I'm still trying to eat healthily, even though I know one. So it's not like I'm going to wait and then start everything in 2 weeks' time, So I think that's something to encourage people,
But it's also, you're probably not asking the deep enough question.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
People will say, I'll be ready in 3 weeks. You'll never be ready.
Yeah.
Because you want everything to be perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
And the problem is you are where you are because you're waiting for the perfect scenario, the perfect supplement scenario, training program. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Because if you start today just doing an extra 2,000 steps, you're ahead compared to everyone else. Everyone's waiting for perfect.
Yeah.
Here's the kicker of perfectionism is that if you're a perfectionist, this is what I do with them. I'm like, sounds like you're just waiting for the perfect scenario. Like, yeah, of course. I'm like, cool, so you're a perfectionist. Like, yes. Well, if you're a perfectionist, you would actually start now because you want to optimize and improve everything. So then what is the real thing? People because what are people? They just don't want to fail.
Yeah.
And so if you look, and this is what I love about social media is that like 6-pack, abs, lean. However, I think the statistic was it was like 0.1% of or 0.01% of people have 6-packs, but 0.1% are millionaires. So it's easier to be a millionaire than it is to get the 6-pack, which everyone's comparing themselves to.
Yeah, exactly.
And then people are like, I want to be a millionaire. I'm like, well, if you make like $10,000 a year for the next 100 years, you'll be a millionaire. But they don't go, but I want it in this timeline. So they don't think about the outcome.
Yeah.
So let's dive into, we could talk about this all day because it's a great topic, and I'm looking forward to my walk tonight with Kate because we're going to talk about it. Is that, and it's just a lack of information. And so like a lot of people, they're like, it's too much. It's like, but what's too much? Because the thing is, in 2-3 years' time, if you continue to do what you'll do, you'll run into, and I hope it doesn't happen, but you'll run into health problems, and then you're going to spend more. So the cost of inaction is more concerning. But the thing is, and we go to people and we give people resources like, here you go, and they still don't action. It's like, but you don't have to pay for it. So they've got to pay, but they don't want to pay. But
And it's teaching people to act while they are healthy. Don't wait for the issue to come, or don't so let's work on preventative rather than cure, right? So yes, you are fit and healthy. Great. Let's keep it that way. Let's improve rather than you coming to us when you have an injury or you are, 30 kgs overweight or whatever the issue is, right? So don't let yourself get to that point. Let's start today,
Or
Eddie?
or allowing yourself to get worse depending on where you are. It's just as most of the people are not also committing not committing fully. For example, when you ask them where they are from a scale from 1 to 10, and just most of them are in their number 7, it's just they giving themselves a what's that word? That they can get there. So hope, but not fully giving themselves hope. However, they're getting distracted. I can achieve that. So I'm not gonna at that point, they're not fully committing to that because they're for example, that number 7. So actually, when we attended the course, the 7 or that 8 where they are is actually the most dangerous because of they're not bad enough to make that change.
Exactly.
So I guess just on that, let's dive into, so what we want to understand is like there are several key areas that people can look at. So like there are 5 main ones that we like to use. So we've got training, nutrition, lifestyle, supplementation, you've got sleep. So for you guys, with the type of people that we're working with, what, if you were to break down training, what would you look at? For example, for me, if someone's brand new, just do one exercise because people are like, I'm busy. Cool. Well, if you went and did 3 sets of 10 or 3 sets of 20, it takes you 5 minutes. Done. That's more than what you were doing before. When people are busy, it's like, I bet you we can 5 minutes. So what does training look like for muscle hypertrophy and for the busy mums?
Yeah, like as for that very busy individual, as you mentioned before, like that would be pretty much a starting point, and later on where they can build up upon. However, when they want that goal, it's just the bare minimum would be like minimum 3 to get them somewhere, and then like, cool, are you able to do 4 times? And just like adding that or probably volume, how much they can. Cool, if we cannot increase volume per session, like, can you do an extra day? So that can be another strategy in terms of like helping to improve that volume and getting them closer towards that goal.
Yep, I think for the moms, I would say it's just doing something. So starting from what can I do? So say you've got the kids at home with you. Can you get out for a walk with them? Can you, which will make them better humans as well. They need fresh air. Can you walk to the playground with them, let them play at the playground, and maybe have your walking shoes on while you walk around the playground? Do some squats. It's still more than you did the day before. So it's a good starting point. And then you can build up. When the kid's sleeping, I know you've got a lot to do around the house where they're sleeping, but can you, in between the cleaning, drop down and do 10 push-ups? Yes, you're going to feel so good about it.
I know I can't.
And then every day set yourself little challenges.
If you can do 10, you're better than me. Love that with the, you're talking about the walking. Just on that, there's NEAT, net energy activity thermogenesis. So what? We classify that as steps. It's really easy. Get your phone out. It says 10,000. If you had to hit 12, shoes on, go. How are you tracking that with the mums?
I think most moms have Apple Watches.
Fists.
You can't see it, so and we're tracking our steps. And I think it's a really good motivator as well. So you want to hit your 10,000 steps a day. If you're at a point where you're only hitting 5 a day, then let's just start with 8. Let's just try to get to 8,000.
Just 8 steps. Yeah,
just 8 steps.
Yeah.
Do it with your kid. Strap them to you. Put them in the stroller. They don't want to. Okay, fine. Go to a playground. Walk around the playground. Let's just try to get that. And once we see that that's achievable, then we can move to 9,000, and then we can move to 10,000. Fantastic. We've reached the base. But just because you're not getting 10,000 steps a day doesn't mean that you shouldn't at least try to get 6 or 7,000.
And just to be clear, she said pick a kid. So pick your favorite one. Pick the favorite one.
Leave one behind.
Yeah.
Just close them in the room with some snacks and water, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Though talking about favorite, my favorite would be, which is the underdog, which is supplements. So I'm going to avoid sleep and nutrition because it's really interesting. There's this group at the moment, everyone's like, it's all about sleep. And people are like, oh, tell us all the subs you need for sleep. But I'm like, well, what about the supplements that improve longevity, cognitive function? So I like supplements because the thing is, we should eat the whole foods. We should do these things. Supplements, it's like, there's so much. Which one's the right one? So I guess for you, so for me, it's like magnesium to help with recovery, creatine for longevity, muscle, fish oil with omega-3s, DHA for brain, all of that stuff. But for you, because I know you don't do a lot of supplements, it is the icing on the cake. So what's your stance? Like, where do you do it, or are you prioritizing something else over that?
So, I mean, for me, I always prioritize, I would say food is first and foremost, sleep, rest, exercise.
And one kid, yep.
And one kid, exactly. Even though I have 2. So.
And a sheepadoodle.
And a sheepadoodle, which is the most exercise. So I think for a lot of, let's say, corporate people or moms at home that aren't sort of taking time to understand all the different, supplements that we should be taking. You're probably taking a probiotic because that's super important. That's like the base. Everyone's like, oh, I'm going to take a good probiotic. Maybe you're taking a vitamin B because it helps to manage your stress levels. And a lot of people in corporate say that, oh, vitamin B, it's good for you when you're really stressed. and omega-3 because you think, oh, fantastic, this is really good for my skin and my hair and my nails. Speaking of those three, I think because just being in corporate for 10 years, those were always the ones that got bought up.
Well, interesting about omega-3 is it stimulates the lymphatic system, which mobilizes fatty acids. So if you were to just eat quality fats, like organic butter has the omega-3s in it as well. So if you, instead of eating like deep fried foods, olive oils, the coconut oils, the butters, all the oils will give you that omega-3 profile naturally.
Yeah.
From that, talking naturally, we've got natural sleep. Can't force that, unfortunately. No one's hacked that biohacked sleep yet.
Yeah.
So what's your stance on sleep? Because it's hard for mums.
Yeah, exactly.
Like kids crying, you can't be like, hey, just give me 2 hours, I'll be right with you.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I mean, for us, I think we try to stick to a routine as much as possible with the kids so that we can also keep our routine as much as possible. There will be bad nights. Can you share the load with your partner as much as possible? I know the moms are laughing. Your husband will sleep through everything when the child is screaming. But that's fine. Then the next night, get the kid to bed early and force yourself to go to bed as early as you can. Get the sleep, knowing that the kid will be up early the next day. I guess it's just making the smart choices, even when you want to sit down and watch some series because you finally get a chance to relax. What's going to be more beneficial for you the next day? Probably the extra hour of sleep.
It depends. What's the series?
Discipline.
No. What's the series? Hang on. What's the series? Yeah.
Everyone's watching Emily in Paris.
Started watching The Rookie with Kate. It's great.
Yeah.
And the last one is nutrition. So what's I think we were talking about whole foods before.
Yeah.
Is it 3 meals a day, 4 meals a day? What sort of structure are you using?
So I do 3 meals a day.
Okay.
That being said, and snacks, it's true.
How many snacks?
My biggest weakness, which I know a lot of people's weaknesses, is chocolate and tea in the evening.
And tea.
And tea, chocolate and tea.
Chocolate and tea. Okay. Not coffee and chocolate?
Well, coffee is only if I'm working in the evening.
Okay.
Yes. So last night there was coffee in the evening, which I very much frown against. I try not to drink coffee, usually up to 2 p.m.
We're just going to zoom in on that coffee on the table because we're working quite diligently here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I do not promote coffee up to 2 o'clock in the day, usually. But when you have certain circumstances, which we all have every now and then, we're trying to achieve things after hours, then yes, but for a very short period of time, and then go back to your discipline.
Yeah, love that. So it's not like you must eat at 11 o'clock, you must eat 500 grams of protein. You're like 3 meals, snacks, make sure you're living life and balance with the kids.
Balance.
Yeah.
And if you can't have breakfast because you're in a hurry, like what I do, then I grab my scoop of protein, which is, again, it's evolution of the supplement side, but it's something new that I've started doing to help me be able to get extra protein in. I don't have time for breakfast because I'm rushing out the door, so let's just get a scoop of protein in that water and at least we're getting something in there. Can we chuck a banana in as well? Fantastic. And at least it's something. I'm not telling you to sit down and, cook a meal.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into that episode. Hope you really enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel and also to share so we can help more people. Now with your pen, you've probably written down heaps of things, but the things like myself, like there's blank pages, but pages, got lots of notes. What are the top 3 that you got out of today's episode? If 3 is too much, action on one thing and just see how it goes for you for this week. And make amendments and adjustments so you're constantly improving and refining and moving forward in your health, your training, your life. If you ever get stuck, reach out to us at info@vitruvianhealth.com.au. Always here to help. Till next time, adios amigos.